President and General Secretary of the Royal College of Midwives, Chief Nursing Officer and conference delegates, as I say, I'm delighted to be able to join you this morning and form part of this very important and prestigious conference, and indeed to have this opportunity to welcome you all most warmly here to the University of Ulster, to this, the Jordanstown campus of the University of Ulster, one of our 4 campuses that we have throughout Northern Ireland. And also for those of you from outside this region, to welcome you to Northern Ireland, and in particular from those of you from across the seas, to welcome you to Northern Ireland. And in that context, I think we have delegates from Australia, the USA, mainland Europe, Jordan, and a very strong delegation from Taiwan. I think 5 delegates from Taiwan, so you're especially welcome. But all of those from overseas. But indeed, no matter where you're from, you're very warm welcome to Northern Ireland here and to the University of Ulster. Nursing and midwifery teaching and research at the University of Ulster is very important to us. It's a central part of our work. And in many ways, it epitomises what the University of Ulster is all about as an institution. Now, clearly, in terms of the research, we were delighted with the outcome of the most recent UK-wide assessment of the quality of research in nursing and midwifery, which placed this university in the top 3 of all such schools across the UK. So it is a leading school, and clearly as Vice-Chancellor, I'm proud of the work we do in the school, in that top 3 position in terms of quality in the UK. But also, and fundamentally, I think it's the nature of that research that I'm proud of as well, because that's what epitomises the work of this university and reflects what we're about, because it tends to be applied. That is, it's practice-based and it's policy relevant. At the university, we're very keen to actually work in partnership and serve the professions and serve the region of which we're a part, to advance practice, to advance policy and advance generally. And that's very much the emphasis of the research in nursing and midwifery and the research in this university generally. And I'm very proud of that. And partnership, and that's key to what we do as well, to work with others to make advances. Now, partnership working, we all know, is not always the most straightforward and the easiest route to take. It is sometimes easier to sit back and just go on your own. Partnership, that involvement that require for transparency, of working together in a transparent way, of being open to ideas of others whilst not losing your own objectives. All of those are challenging, but I think it is the most productive route to take, and as a university we do that and we encourage that partnership. And I think, and I very much hope, and I know that in nursing we certainly do, we respect partnership, and that partnership works when we come together as equals in that partnership with a common goal. And that's very much what midwifery research is about generally in this university, as in nursing research. So when I talked about the quality of the research here and being that top 3 position, of course, when I meant here, it's not in the university as such, but it's in this partnership. And I'm very pleased to be able to thank our partners, especially locally, the hospitals we work with, and we have several joint appointments which add to that partnership, and indeed the local department here of Health and Social Services and Public Safety, of which Professor Bradley, who is a visiting professor in the university, again that partnership of how we all work together. So that's an important part of what we actually do here as a university. And so in that context, I'm pleased that this conference is a result of partnership, a developing partnership between the Doctoral Midwifery Research Society and the Royal College of Midwives. And it's that partnership that has combined to put together this conference, and I commend them and I congratulate them on that. And having looked through your conference programme, I'm just impressed by the range of topics that you'll be looking at, and impressed also by the range in terms of the backgrounds of people who are actually contributing to advances in midwifery. Contributions from theorists, from obstetricians, epidemiologists, scientists, clinicians, and midwifery professors. And so all of that coming together again in this sense of partnership. And indeed, it is only just 3 years ago now that this university appointed the first professor of midwifery research on this island. And of course, that is Marlene Sinclair, and Marlene has been doing excellent work since then, and I have the pleasure of promoting Marlene to that inaugural professorship. And I'm sure you'll understand if I take this opportunity to congratulate Marlene, who's been behind this conference, and we all know that these conferences just don't happen. So Marlene, thank you very much for the excellent work that you've done, because typically when Marlene gave me some notes about this conference, she said, would I thank various people? But of course she doesn't mention herself in all of that. So Marlene, on behalf of us all, thank you for the excellent work you've done, but also, and I'm pleased to be able to recognise publicly also the important work carried out by Patricia Gillen and Janine Stockdale. So on behalf of us all, thank you for that. Also, having looked through the programme, I can't help but notice how high-tech midwifery seems to be becoming. There's a lot of technology in there, there's a lot of ICT in there, and a lot to do with medical devices. And I can't help but reflect back, and I'll be brief here because I don't want to hold you, but reflect back to two ladies who were prominent in my early life, and that was a Nurse Van Court and a Mrs. Burgess. Just very big. I tell you, I was brought up in the country, small rural district, and Nurse Van Court was the district nurse and midwife. And Mrs. Burgess was one of those ladies who had no professional qualification, but whenever there was something to be done, she was always there. And I'm one of 4 sons, and we were all born at home. Now, I can't say much about my older brother's birth or my birth, but I mean, my 2 younger brothers, when they were born, it all seemed to not much to it really, in the sense I went to bed one night, and in the morning there was Mrs. Burgess there to wake me up and tell me that I had a new brother downstairs, so we were all born at home. And we went downstairs, and there was my mother in a bed that had been put up in one of the downstairs rooms, and the new baby brother in not the cot but this basket type thing that was used at the time beside it, and off we went to school, and that was it. And 2 years later the same thing happened again, and that was Nurse Van Court and Mrs. Burgess, and they were doing that throughout the district. And no doubt they would, if they were here now, what I would say is they would be absolutely surprised, I guess, by the nature of the topics that you're actually looking at. In that context, I should say, it's not typical of me being late, because I'm told I came a month early in that. So, I can be early, but not always. But what I would say, though, and this goes throughout the profession, of course, is that although Nurse Van Court and Mrs. Burgess would have been, amazed at the topics you're looking at, I mean, they would have, been fundamentally interested, and because what they were interested in and what they cared about, and you all care about, is the quality of care to the mother and the child. And they were doing it in their way at that time, and I'm not going to tell you which decade I'm talking about, but you'll be able to work that out. And what you're doing and the advances you've got. I mean, as I say, they would be amazed, but be impressed, I think, in what you're doing. So, can I just, once again apologise for my lateness and in delaying you all, but very much say that how welcome you are to the university and to Northern Ireland. I very much hope that you have not only a very productive conference, and in the conference you'll meet new people, generate new ideas, and generate partnerships that will go on to make further advances in midwifery practice and midwifery policy. So have a productive conference in that sense, but also I very much hope you enjoy your time here in the university and in Northern Ireland. And so once again, you're all very welcome, and thank you.